Yeah, so welcome to Vasili's garden, folks. We're back in the veggie garden now. I'm going to destroy whatever's in here. I'm going to basically harvest everything. All the tomatoes are coming out. Literally every plant's going to come out because I think this little frame that I've built here has done its job. It's lived its time and it's about to come down. It's feeling the brunt of the weather and the age of it. So it's about 3 years of age. We'll build a proper frame. Like I say, I'm going to build everything else around here, but one day we'll get it done. But more importantly, have a look at the base here. It looks like a weed-infested garden. And what you're looking at here, ignore the tomatoes because they're finished. What we're looking at here, now I know it as horta, or in English, dandelion, but more commonly known by most home gardeners as a weed. This is classed as a weed. And the thing about weeds is, the definition of a weed is basically a plant growing somewhere where you never planted or it's grown on its own, and Cara just coming to say hello. Don't go licking my face now. Come on, sweetheart, we can't do that on camera. So a definition of a weed is a plant that you don't want growing in the space where it is. For example, we've got cooch coming into here now. All right, see all that? Now that's, to me, is a weed. That's like wiregrass, wireweed. That's got to come out, all of it. We've got other weeds growing in here as well. We've even got some rice growing, but the dandelion, I would not class as a weed. Yeah, it can be invasive because one little flower like this can throw off thousands upon thousands of seeds, and that's what's happening here. And when I first saw this growing in the garden, the first reaction I had was, wow, how cool is this? Because it is packed full of nutritional benefits. It's a medicinal plant in its own right, and it has some great nutritional elements which are great for the health of your body. Let's pull one up. Have you seen what they look like? Because I know a lot of you just spray them, they curl away and they disappear. But when you pull a healthy one up, and these are super healthy, they should have a huge taproot system underneath there. Now I'm going to try and pull this by hand so I don't break it. So grab a hold of the whole plant like this. And this soil is all our own mix, so it shouldn't be too hard to pull out. Oh, I did break it. I did break it. Now this has got multiple roots on it. This has grown a little bit different. I've got to get one for you properly the way I want to show it to you. Let me work around here. Let's find another one. Well, here's a flower. Have a look at this. Now when this finishes, it turns into a little white pompon and it just blows away in the wind and it spreads everywhere. Here's another one here. Either way, half the root or the whole root. I did pull one up earlier. I thought I'd just do one in real time to show you what they look like. Let me loosen up the soil a bit because it is quite a strong root ball, or taproot I should call it. It's not a root ball. Okay, just getting all the fibrous roots off. Oh, come on. You got to come up all together. Broke it. Bugger you. Anyway, disappointed with that. It's there. Ah, it's too deep. All right, let's go and see the one I pulled up earlier and you'll see what I'm talking about. The dandelion itself is an edible plant. Almost every part is edible. The roots are edible. All these leaves are delicious. You can eat them fresh as well. But the only parts you wouldn't eat are these stems. Now, these have finished, but when they were active with their flowers on top, you'd find a milky, sap coming out of them. So they can be a little bit bitter to taste. So you can discard the stems like this. Look, I'm sure you can eat the stems if you like the bitterness of them, the bitterness taste or the bitter taste of them. And I'm sure there's plenty of good nutritional benefits out of them as well, only because they're all growing off the same plant, right? But as far as a simple approach, a salad, or if you lightly blanch this, you'll get a little bit of olive oil, garlic on it, the typical Greek scenario that I talk about, that I love. You'll love this in your dish. Wash these and treat them like a carrot if you like, or grate it down as well. Now, have a look at the thickness of this root ball, or taproot here, okay? Thickness of my index finger there, even a little bit thicker than that. And I pulled one out earlier just to give you an idea on how deep the root goes, all right? It's a narrower root, taproot, to this one here. So that is at least 40 centimeters in length. Have a look at that. That is the length, almost the length of my arm, my forearm. Well, take my forearm only, it's longer than my forearm, put my hand in there as well. So this would have actually been at least another 5 centimeters deeper. Hence why it broke on me when I was pulling it out. So yeah, I should have used a spade, shovel, or a garden fork to loosen up the soil that deep to get it. And what is the benefit of that? Well, all that wonderful nutrient that we apply on the surface, our superfood, our black grit, our compost, manures, all those wonderful elements that we put in there, all organic in fact, as you're watering and the bacteria is activated in there and the water's diluting those nutrients and feeding up the plants, a lot of that starts to seep down below to the subsoil. Well, not quite down to the base of the soil, but lower in the soil itself. And this reaches down below to get all those micronutrients that otherwise are not in the surface where other shallow roots are. So these draw it up by its root system, release it out, and they share that inoculation that goes on between plants, microbes, and the soil, like carbon and all that, is shared here. So the networking of life in the soil is enhanced by having deep tap roots like this growing in there. So this is already wilted, by the way. As you can see, it's been out for about half an hour now. It's a bit warm out today. This here is not a weed. If it's grown in your garden, it's a blessing to you. And harvest it. Let it grow to its full potential. Don't be scared to let it flower. And once it finishes it flowers, or just harvest before it finishes flowering, or take the flowers off so they don't spread in your garden. Unlike what I've done, I've got a carpet of it in there, and all of that can be eaten fresh, dehydrated, grounded, vitamin A, B, C, K, all those elements, folate. It's what do they call that? I don't know the proper medical terms of these because I'm no expert at that, but I do know this increases your urine release, so it helps you flush your body out. The leaves will increase your appetite, but do not take it if you're on blood thinners and things like that, medication. Consult your local doctor, practitioner, whoever you're seeing, holistic practitioner as well, and confirm that you can enjoy some dandelion if you are on some sort of medication. Otherwise, if you've got this growing in your garden, keep the weed sprays away from it. By all means, keep the weed sprays away from it, harvest it like I have here, and start enjoying it. This way, it's zero investment, 100% gain. Food, minerals, energy, and everything you need. Dandelions, let them grow in your garden today. Vasili'sGarden.com for everything you need. From me, Vasili. Malesi.